¿Qué pasa, mi gente? This is Big Daddy Cool here for Unpopular Reviews, the wrestling show. Tonight, we are going to be talking about Dominik Mysterio. Is he worthy to be the champion? As you know, recently, he won the NXT North American Championship. And we're going to be talking about, is he championship material? Why is this man so hated? And also, who can challenge him? We got some challengers, NXT, WWE main roster, maybe some other people that are in development that we haven't seen yet. Maybe free agents. Who knows? We're going to talk about that. Plus, we're going to live stream the last hour of Monday Night Raw. And we're going to talk about a lot of other things in wrestling news, like Tiffany Stratton. Who's influential to her? AEW Blood and Guts was last week. What do we think about the matches? Lots of stuff to discuss. So on the other side of this intro, we're going to talk about it all. Your questions, your comments live, throw them up, and we'll read them as we go along with the wrestling show. Guys, this is Big Daddy Cool. See you on the other side. Hey, everybody. Welcome once again. Unpopular Review here, the wrestling show. I'm Big Daddy Cool, and I do not come alone. I am joined by the bad guy himself, Badguy Jack. But tonight, he's going under the moniker Monday Night Raw. You're on mute, Papa. I can't hear you. You're on mute. So while Ron tries to get his stuff back up, I welcome you all to the show. Again, like I said, we're going to be talking about Dominik Mysterio. We're going to be talking about the build to SummerSlam. Lots of stuff going on right. There you go. I can hear you now, buddy. Good job.
Thank you.
We're going to be talking about Dom Mysterio. We're going to talk about the build to SummerSlam. Monday Night Raw is going on right now as we are live streaming. We got Dom. We got one of the
Money in the Bank.
That's right, Senor Money in the Bank, and he's going up against your guy, Apollo.
Apollo Crews.
That's right, Apollo Crews is back. So, and we'll jump in with what we think about Monday Night Raw as it continues. But again, thanks for everybody for joining. And if you're not familiar, Unpopular Review, we love talking about wrestling on this YouTube channel. Please, if you're watching us on Facebook or Twitch or Twitter, please make sure you like and subscribe over on YouTube, and follow us from wherever you're watching us, whether that be, again, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of the above. Ron, let's start with the reason for the season, right? The reason that we titled this episode was who's going to challenge Dominik Mysterio? As you know, last week, and you are usually the NXT review host. You do live reviews after NXT every Tuesday night on our YouTube channel. And so you know NXT a lot better than I do. I don't really follow NXT all that much.
Sure.
And so I think you are the perfect co-host tonight because
perfect. Thank you.
I'm not all that familiar with NXT, so I can throw a couple names out the hat, but you will know the guys. But before we talk about who is going to possibly challenge this man and take this title from him, we got to talk about Dominik himself. This man has slowly become the most hated man in all of professional wrestling, not just WWE, but AEW, TNA, all of it.
Yeah.
Why do you think that Dominik Mysterio is so hated?
Oh my God, that's a really good question. Why do I think he's so hated? Besides being aligned with the Judgment Day, which is one of the best things to happen in his career. I mean, when you attack a beloved figure like Rey Mysterio, people are going to say, this guy's a piece of trash. So I think that was just the right move to do that. I think that's why. And he has done such a great job with the heat. And, not for nothing, too. It's not like he has this heat and then it's not like he had this heat and then 2 weeks later, people wasn't, they forgot about him. This thing is still going on. I think the fans are just enjoying this so much where every time he talks, they try to get louder and louder and louder. And I really love that for the kid because, once again, this whole thing was just the best move for him.
Yep. I agree that I think like the way he beat down his pops, Rey Mysterio, is a big reason why he's so hated. But I think the internet wrestling community also has a part to do with it, in the fact the way that this man came up. As you know, again, you review NXT, you've been watching NXT, you live, breathe, sleep NXT. This man didn't touch NXT.
No.
This man just got straight hot shotted to the main roster. And I think that's a part of the reason why everybody hates this man. Sure. Is he didn't pay his dues, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But let's face facts. Dominik can still go in the ring, right? Last week, he fought Wes Lee, right, for this title. Can the man not go?
I didn't think that was one of his better showings. I think he had like that one botch thing with Wes Lee. It was one little botch, but he is pretty good in the ring. I thought tonight when he had that match with Sammy, I thought he was really, really good. Matter of fact, I complimented him when Sammy was going for the Blue Thunder bomb, and then the way he countered. So I think he has his moments. I mean, he's still young. He's still finding his groove, which is fine. I mean, once again, young man. But I didn't think the match was all that. I mean, I've watched a bunch of Wes Lee matches, and this is not going to be one of those top 5 Wes Lee North American championship matches. It won't be up there. But the reaction of him winning, you brought up a really good point. I thought that was so tremendous that you mentioned that, how he bypassed NXT. And I forget about that because, sometimes wrestling fans, I don't listen to them because, some of them are, stupid. But, they complain. And they did complain about that so much. Like, oh, he didn't do NXT. He didn't touch NXT. He didn't touch NXT. And guess what? He did touch NXT and stole our title. And now is wrestling on. He wrestled tonight on Monday night. And he wrestled again on SmackDown. So check him out.
Yeah, this man, thank you for bringing that up. This man is, I think, the first main roster superstar to main event all 3 major shows in 1 week.
Yeah.
He main evented Monday Night Raw last week with the tag team match that he was in, then NXT, the title match that he won, and then on SmackDown, he fought who was it that he was fighting? Butch, thank you. For the North American title.
Yeah.
So again, good job. I don't expect him to be, again, Luthez. I don't need him to be, Killer Kowalski in there.
I'm sorry, a lot of people in the chat are saying, who? You mean the move that Stone Cold does?
That's right.
The actual.
I don't expect this man to be like a wrestling professional, but can he do the job? Can he go in there and do business? Yeah, he looks good.
I agree. I don't think he can necessarily be all that. I think even still, I think he does a great job. Like I think his in-ring work is pretty good. I just think he needs more reps, and that's fine. But I also think that he got what is the main thing in wrestling is the character. Like that is so main, and him doing that at such a young age. I mean, thumbs up because you've watched wrestling for a long period of time. It takes sometimes people like 10 years to get, finding themselves, and for him to be so young, and and I also think the vehicle too, being in the Judgment Day, has just been such a complimentary to him too.
Yep. I agree. And I think it works both ways, right? I feel like going into the Judgment Day, he generated a lot of heat for them too. Yeah. And so he pays it back. Again, he's got great mentors in Finn Balor and in Damian Priest. Damian Priest, again, new to the main roster, kind of new, right? But not new to wrestling. The man's been in the indie circuit as Punishment Martinez for the better part of the last, 15, 20 years.
Right.
So this man has been doing his stuff, and they're all teaching Dom. Even Rhea, for that matter, is teaching Dom. Yeah. Probably in and out of the ring, wink, wink. But, they're complementing each other. You're absolutely right about that.
No, I agree.
And I think that he brings in the heat, and he's also kind of helped Finn Balor a bit, right? Like Judgment Day, putting them on the map too, like all of them. And we'll get to what I want to end this segment on is not that we want to end it right now, because I would definitely want to get to some of these comments about Dominik and how people are feeling about Dominik and the Judgment Day for that matter. But, who do you see? Can Dominik be a leader of the Judgment Day in the future?
In the future, yeah, but not right now. But like, yeah,
No.
not right. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he could be the leader when you have Finn Balor in there, or who I really think is the real leader, Rhea Ripley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Rhea Ripley is the real leader here. But not now. But as time goes on, I just think he's still finding himself, and putting him in a position like that right now. I don't want to say it's a setup, but I just think you wouldn't be doing yourself a favor doing that. I think right now, let him play his role that he's been doing very well. Give it time, and we get there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like if they made him the leader of the Judgment Day, it would generate more heat.
Yeah, people would be upset for other reasons.
People, oh my God, they would light this man like on fire. Like this.
He might cause another forest fire. I know.
Right. In Canada or in Mexico, maybe both. Who knows? Let's get to some of these comments, and then we're gonna talk about who we think is gonna challenge Dominik Mysterio for this North American title. What's up, Charmaine? She's watching us on Facebook. She says, "What's up to my favorite host, Big Daddy Cool?" What's up, Charmaine? Good to see you here. Jeffrey, what's going on? He's watching us on YouTube. Big Daddy Cool. Jack, what's up? George, good to see you as always, my man. Welcome to the show.
He's called Sweat.
Charmaine says, Braun Breaker should beat Dominik without Rhea helping. They should ban her from ringside. Same here with Finn and Damian. Braun Breaker's an interesting choice, but I think that would be a step backwards, right, Ron? If Braun Breaker goes after the North American title, yes, he's stepping up because he's stepping up to a main roster guy.
Right.
But he's going after a secondary title when he held the main title of NXT.
I get that argument, but I feel like a lot of wrestlers have done that where they won the world title and then they just found themselves going for the mid title. I don't see that being the thing because I see Braun being called up. So I would be looking at someone in NXT who's going to probably be there for a while to take the strap off Dominik. Braun is not the guy. I don't see Braun being the guy. I think Braun just had his last match a few weeks ago, and he's going to be called up. I want to say somewhere after SummerSlam.
I agree with you. George says Dom shouldn't be North American champion. Well, he is, my man. Wake up to reality.
I gotta say, I once again didn't see it coming, but the heat that he has gotten, and also seeing that this championship is also being defended on other shows, I think it's a win for everybody. A lot of people are not a fan of a main roster superstar winning NXT gold, and then they're on the main roster. But I think that does a favor because I watch NXT. I know everyone don't watch NXT, but if I'm in the audience, I'm like, wait, when did? Yeah, especially if all you know is the main roster, right? You see Dom with this other belt. He said, did he go to AAA? Where did he win this belt from? I think it just put more eyes on the brand. So I think it's like I said, I didn't see it coming, but giving it some time to think about it, I think that it was the right move.
And I don't think anybody saw it coming, Ron, because you know what? Like the ratings showed last week, like they had some of their highest ratings in the past 2 years. Dom Mysterio is a draw. And I think a lot of people in the internet wrestling community don't want to admit that. That this man genuinely, he did something that Becky Lynch couldn't do, Seth Rollins couldn't do. He drew people from Raw to watch NXT. Almost 800,000 viewers on a Tuesday night. And honestly, I honestly think, Jack, that if it wasn't for Blood and Guts, Dominik Mysterio would have beat AEW Dynamite.
Oh man, that would have been so great. I would have loved that though, because the AEW the marks, because there's some really intelligent AEW fans, but the ones who sit here and say, "Don't judge our product, judge yourself," and touch grass, which that's very clever, right? But that would have been great. I would have loved that because it would have been a meltdown on what's this new thing? Threads? I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all this stuff. Maybe
and Twitter turned into X.
Yeah, I know. X gonna give it to you.
X maybe that's why Elon thought about it.
Yeah, he's a DMX fan.
Let's keep going here. Jeffrey says Dominik winning that championship makes sense with the group Judgment Day. You got everybody's a winner. Everybody's a champ, right? We talked about this last week. Oh, but not Finn, right? So
dominated.
when Finn goes after Seth Rollins at SummerSlam and takes an L again, is this man thrown out of Judgment Day?
But it's interesting because now I had that same mindset about Seth Rollins winning. I just felt like, for me, my mindset is Seth won this title, 2 months ago. Let him have a little run with this championship. But now with the Judgment Day, you have Senior Money in the Bank. You have Rhea Ripley as the women's champion. You have Dom. It's not going to be a long run with this North American Championship, but right now they all got gold. And it makes me the possibility of Finn winning the World Heavyweight Championship started creeping in my head, saying maybe this could be a thing. I still have Seth if I have to go, but I feel like the possibilities of Finn winning this championship now, it made me go, there's a possibility.
If Finn wins this title, right? And and you know what? It's funny because I think we talked about this a little bit last week on the Monday show. Judgment Day, right now as it stands, with 3 of them being champs. Well, last week, 2 of them were champs.
Sure.
But we were kind of predicting that Dom was going to take this title. So 3 of them 3 out of the 4 are champs.
Yes.
In the landscape that is professional wrestling beyond WWE, is the Judgment Day the best faction right now in all of professional wrestling?
The best faction right now?
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, you can't count the Bloodline anymore, right? Because
nope, they're fractured.
They're fractured. Yeah, they're not a faction. They're fractured.
Right.
I think they're the best group. I want to say, yeah. I think they're one of the better groups. I can't sit here. I like Imperium, but I know not a lot of people are talking, and that's a faction because more than 2. And you was talking about they call them the Blackpool, but I call them the Bloodpool Combat Club. And I think they're pretty, that's a good name, right? Thank you. Let's get that going. # Bloodpool Combat Club. But I got to go with the Judgment Day. And especially when you look at how they have been booked, where they're not, brand split be damn, right? They're on Raw, they're on NXT, they're on SmackDown. I'm surprised they just haven't showed up at AEW. Just like, we're going to work on Wednesday.
Right. I mean, shit, Rhea gets name dropped on AEW every once in a while, but
once again, the leader of the Judgment Day.
That's right. That's right. Let's go through some of these comments. Then we're going to talk about potential challengers for Dom, Big Dirty Dom. Remember when Solo won the North American Championship and had to relinquish it? Yep, I do. That's not going to be Dom, though. Dom is going to take an L. Can we talk about Rhea Ripley being a boring women's champion? Ooh, wow. I don't know. Here we got two opposing thoughts, right? Ron, you think Rhea's the lead of the Judgment Day. I don't think you can call her boring if somebody thinks that she could be the leader.
I think what George is saying, her run, and her run is not everything I thought, but I still think there are some matches that she did really good. Or some decent matches. That's a better way. Let me my English teacher somewhere ashamed of my vernacular. But I think there's some matches that she's done well. I thought the match that she had, and I think it's more because of the crowd. A crowd can really get into a match. She had that match with Zelina Vega. I think everyone knew that Zelina was going to lose, but still, I thought the emotion in the match. She had these matches with Natalya. I thought that match that they had on Monday was really not. I forget how many Mondays ago, but I thought that was decent. So I get what George is saying. I think he's just saying like her run. I think there was a vision of her run that we thought was going to happen, and it hasn't. But I don't know. I think because she's still on TV, I don't know. I don't think her run is boring, but I understand where you're getting at.
I hear that. I hear what he's trying to put down. He's saying the title defenses or like the title storylines tied to Rhea are boring, but everything ancillary between her and Dom keeps her interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct there?
No, you are absolutely 100% correct. Yes, but I think the act is what's still. It takes her away from that not borderline. What is it? That line of boring. I think the act has always been something that has saved her.
Yes. And when time tells a different story than we live in currently, right? So when we look back in, let's say, 2 years, 5 years, back at the Rhea Ripley run of her second now women's championship title defense, are we going to remember the stories are we gonna remember? Yeah, she was.
It'll be the stories.
3-1.
It'll be the stories.
And she got beat by Raquel or whatever. You're gonna remember the stories, right?
It's gonna be the stories. A lot, not for nothing in wrestling. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of matches that I remember. But sometimes I go back to, hey, remember when Stone Cold just got ran over for reason? So I always remember the stories, Oh, when Kane was just burning people's testicles because he was, I don't know.
I look back at that Attitude Era stuff, and I'm like, I don't remember whether what title anybody was holding. I can ask you, when The Rock threw Stone Cold's title over the
bridge,
right? It's like, which title was it? Was it the U.S. title? Was it the Intercontinental title?
It was the 24/7 United States Championship.
It was, right? But I bet you we could survey an audience and they probably think it's the WWE Championship title.
Because not a lot of people, matter of fact, someone like when people talk about The Rock, he was never one of my favorites, but I use him as an example as it might have not been the matches for people, but they will say they remember the catchphrases, they remember the stories that he was doing, the insults and all that stuff. So it was always the character and the story. And we see in the comment, one Michael Ace Pearman, he writes because wrestling storyline, and hashtag is in front of wrestling storyline.
That's right. ME2 reviews. That was Judgment Day, not just Dom. I don't know, man. George can't hating on Dom. See, everybody's hating on Dom. Poor Dom.
They called him tonight. They called him Daddy Dom.
Daddy, that's right. That's what Rhea called him.
Daddy Dom.
I mean, listen, he's a champ. So Jack, let's get to, who do you think
takes that title off him?
Who do you takes that title off him? Like, we talked about Braun, so we got that one. Mm-hmm. Charmaine asked, what about a guy, what about Mello?
His name.
Or not she says, what about the guy with Mello? I forgot his name.
Trick Williams? That is so rude.
Trick Williams. What if Trick Williams shows up? He was with Alicia Fox earlier in the weekend. Just at an indie show.
That was cool.
What if Trick Williams shows up? What can he be a guy that can beat Dominik Mysterio?
I feel like Trick is someone you still want to build around. Like you still want to take your time with him. I never thought the possibility of Trick. So when you ask these questions, right, and I know a lot of these talents, I went back to Wesley. So, like I said, didn't expect him to lose, right? And I know I've said that for like the fourth time. I'll say it for a fifth time. Didn't expect him to lose because they're going into NXT Great American Bash, and the match was supposed to be Wesley against Mustafa Ali. Mm-hmm. And now I'm thinking, well, maybe this weekend, I feel like the pay-per-view is this weekend, or the PLE, I'm sorry. It looked like we might get Wesley, Mustafa Ali, and Dominik. I don't know how we get there, but I think we get there. Who takes it? I think you just put it back on Wesley, because I think you put on Wesley, and I think they also, too, never got that match that they wanted with him. Well, an actual good match, honestly, because him and Tyler Bate had a match, but it was just it didn't look it was to quote a friend, it was shenanigans. So I think they still want to get to that. So I go back to Wesley. When I look at this roster, and you have someone, and anybody who watches NXT, they know how much I love the great Von-tastic Von Wagner. Who threw the guy with the jacket in the crowd. So I always have a soft spot for the Vonness. But I just see Wesley. Mello got the championship. I don't see Dragunov taking it, because especially since he has a feud. I'm looking at all these other names. I just go back to Wesley.
You again, excellent analysis by the bad guy himself. Triple threat match is a very, very sneaky way to get the title off Dom, but also protect Dom. Sure. If Ali pins Wesley or Wesley pins Ali, Dom is still clean, right? He didn't take the L.
So he's no longer Dirty Dom?
Well, he's always Dirty Dom until he's not Dirty Dom, until he's Clean Dom.
Clean Dom.
But yeah, man, that is, that could very well be it. But I could also see Ali win it. Not for nothing. Like Ali, we know that Ali went back, Baron Corbin went back, and very rarely do we see people go back and stay back for a while. Finn Balor, I think, was the last person that went back there and actually did some stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if Mustafa Ali comes out with this thing, because, he seems like a player coach, but he also feels like this is a new life for him. And so I think it will build him back up, and then if they build up Ali, they can feed Ali to somebody that is on the come up too.
It's all possible. I see. I saw in the chat. I want to agree with Sweater Time George that I do see Ali getting the pin, but because
he said Wesley gets the pin.
Oh, Wesley, yeah, but he pins Mustafa.
Oh, right.
I wanted to point out, but he pins Mustafa. And that's all possible. I don't see it. I think he's down there to obviously help out that crop of talent, but I don't think he's there. And I think he's finding new life. I agree to everything to that, but I don't think he's winning gold down there.
Yeah,
I don't see him winning gold.
UPR co-host extraordinaire Mike Knox joining in from YouTube. What's up, Mike? He says he'd be let go in the next 30 days. Oh, you talking about Ali? Come on now. That you can't be doing that guy dirty. He's a ride or die guy. This guy puts people over, makes them look like $1 million. He's like Ricochet, Dolph Ziggler. You need these guys.
Listen. I'm keeping Ali because he did that terrible gimmick called Retribution. After that, I think you can't even ask anymore for Ali. So, when I hear this, he's going to be let go. I don't think so. I think if I'm in the back, right, and I see Ali, I look at Ali, and I'm like, you did Retribution, right? Yeah. You set for life, my man. You good. I'm not going to bother you. When they did that stuff, and one of them, you remember that Retribution? One of them came out with a chainsaw, and I remember thinking, like,
that's right.
So no, I don't think they're going to be letting him. I think they know the talent that they have with him, and I think him and NXT is just a better fit anyway. Because for me, I think he's so great. I think he's great. His talent is great, but I can understand mic work is his weakness, and NXT is such a different environment where I don't think they necessarily care about all of that. And I just think it's a better fit for him. So I don't see him winning gold, but I don't think they're going to let him go. I think they keep him in NXT. I don't know for how long, but I hope for the long stake because I think that's a better fit for him.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. We think that it's going to be Wesley that takes the title, but doesn't pin Dominik Mysterio. If you can believe that, that's the way to go.
The last Dom.
Or Ali. I mean, I'm putting my money on Ali. I think Ali's gonna.
I have no money.
You have no money?
No, I can't join you on this. I just have to watch you put out the big bucks. the
big bucks on Ali.
Yeah,
that's what's going to go on. Guys, this is Unpopular Review. This is the wrestling show. We're talking about Dominik Mysterio and his North American title reign thus far. Yes, 1 week in. Might end up wrapping up this Sunday at Great American Bash, but we'll see. Maybe longer. I mean, if this guy keeps drawing the way he drew last Tuesday, he might end up keeping this belt and main eventing for the next month and a half until they beat AEW. I'm
really?
Big Daddy Cool.
We're just going to go for him to break the record of the Fabulous Moolah. He just holds the title for like 50 years.
He's going Dominik Mysterio will hold this title for 50 years, just until AEW goes out of business. This man is going to be a champion and piss everybody off. Imagine that, guys.
Yes.
We are live streaming right in the middle of Monday Night Raw. Right now, we've got Drew McIntyre in the ring with who's this? Ludwig Kaiser?
Yes, Kaiser.
Thank you. That's right. I get these guys confused.
One of Bowser's kids. One of the kids was named Ludwig.
Was it one of them is named Ludwig?
Yeah, it was the one with the blue hair.
He was not in the movie.
I know they should.
No,
hopefully in the sequel they add the Koopa.
They start. That's the sequel where they go deep dive into the Bowser family, and not just
actually his kids though. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Who was the guy, the wizard guy, Kamek?
Oh, yeah, Kamek.
That's right. Oh, I mispronounced it. My bad. My apologies to Kamek and his family.
On Tuesdays, I'm always mispronouncing, and the chat rips me apart. So. This is one for the bad guy.
There you go. Oh, Drew, oh wow! Look at that. Drew was actually going to go for the Claymore kick, and Ludwig actually blocked it. That's crazy.
He's really good at the in-ring work stuff. Is really his gig.
Yes, I'm surprised that they don't have them tag team more often. I mean, we know that the WWE tag team division is a bit of a joke.
That's why I do want to sit here and say when they were teasing him breaking up Imperium, I thought that was such a bad move. I honestly think that's not smart.
I mean, like Mike Knox said in the comments, if there's any type of cuts coming, I mean, I can see why they would drop Imperium and let these two dudes go. But nobody announces Gunther like Ludwig does.
Yeah, Samantha.
Oh, and Samantha. So of course, please, no one can touch Samantha. What's that?
You said somebody else does the pronunciation better. Who?
No, doesn't Ludwig introduce him sometimes?
Oh yeah. No, he does. I'm sorry, I forgot all about that. He catches the cake. His coat too. I mean, the man he could do it all.
Yes, he does. Oh, look, here's Matt Riddle making a run in. Imperium was just stomping the mud hole into Drew McIntyre after he beat Ludwig with a Claymore. I wonder. And here he is going to get buried again. I know. Executive consultant is a critic of mine when I say that Riddle is getting buried.
It's but doing the Matt Riddle. Like I don't know if the word is buried, but it's like you could tell he hasn't been the same. What do you want to say since last year? I thought he was going to power drive him. That's why I stopped. But he hasn't been the same. His booking has not been the same since last year. Since losing Randy, really? Yeah,
since going into rehab, really. Like that's really when he lost, the steam. At least they took everything from this man. They took his bro, the hat. They took away his scooter. You in bad shape when like Vince strips you of like everything.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you want to sleep with porn stars and get them pregnant and go to rehab? Okay, buddy, don't worry about it. I got you. And Gunther, go show him. Go give him 5 minutes of work.
Oh, that match that they had at Money in the Bank was ridiculous. That was really ridiculous. Like there was even no reason for that. And they had a better match on Raw after. I remember that match that happened at Money in the Bank. I think I stepped away for a minute because I was hungry. So I stepped away because I just wanted to get something to eat. And then the match stopped. I said, "What happened?" And then I enjoyed my French toast sticks because French toast sticks are awesome.
Here's another example of why I think Riddle is getting buried. This man came out here to save Drew McIntyre from getting beat down by the three dudes of Imperium. This man immediately gets laid out, and Drew McIntyre single-handedly wipes out Imperium. And then he steals this man's belt, Gunther's belt, and then he puts him through a table. Riddle is dead. Nowhere is he? He's nowhere. No, they didn't even bother showing him again. They were just like, go distract some bums.
It's so go distract some bums. It makes me laugh because it reminds me of that time when I forget it was called the Union or something like that. They all tried to stop the Undertaker. Big Show got laid out. Ken Shamrock got laid out, and Ken Shamrock is like a legit fighter, so he got laid out. But with the heart of Texas, Stone Cold was able to knock out everybody. So that's what this whole scene reminds me of. With Drew with the heart of Scotland was able to take out Imperium.
Yep. Oh. More Judgment Day? Bro, Judgment Day is such a draw. They just have Judgment Day all like every segment.
I was going to even point that out when you were talking about earlier about who's the best faction in wrestling. It's the Judgment Day because, like I said, they were on all these shows. But on Raw, for the most part, all you see, Judgment Day is pretty much what Bloodline was on SmackDown before the faction.
Right. Jeffrey, nobody cares about Riddle. You're absolutely right.
Beef. No, because Jeffrey, I be seeing him on Twitter. He be having beef with Matt Riddle. And I'm like, where did the beef come from? Is it because the man don't wear shoes to the ring?
Yeah. I'm trying to find this man. George Lewis says, dude, Riddle is not being buried. Please stop.
His booking has not looked good. So it's hard for me. I don't use the word burial, but it's not good.
Oh, they even took away his tights. Like this, they sent this man out in jeans today. They said, no. Don't even bother putting on the tights. Just run out in your jeans.
Oh my God.
Go take an ass kicking, and then Drew kip up and beat everybody's ass.
He did. He really did. He beat the whole entire Imperium up. It's wild.
Oh my God, this man, please.
Poor Riddle.
Oh, I'm telling you, man, Riddle. I don't know what he's gonna have to do. it's tough. It's tough being Riddle, man. But I tell you, things changed ever since
No,
you know, that he got that chick pregnant and went into rehab.
oh,
It's
Lord.
getting worse. Let's change the topics a little bit. Let's talk about Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley on SmackDown shows up in a limo, and he pulls aside these dudes from the Street Profits. Ron, what do you think is going on there?
I think he's recruiting everyone black. I know this because I got a.
That's it. Just he's recruiting everybody that's black. He's like, oh, it worked for Rey Mysterio. He just recruited all the Latinos.
Yeah, it's faction warfare at its finest right now.
That's right.
It's interesting to me because before all this, there was this tease about the Hurt Business coming back. It was going to be. It looked like MVP. Looked like he was going to get Shelton and Cedric. Try to get Bobby and then Omos, and I thought that would have been great for Omos because I like Omos. He's a big dude. He doesn't do a lot, but I think him being in this group. One of the cool things I remember watching the ECW documentary, and something Paul Heyman would say about his talent, he would find ways to protect his talent. I think that would have been a great way to protect Omos, but obviously that didn't happen. So now seeing him, he's talking to the Street Profit. He was talking this week, not this week. I'm sorry, Friday with Trick and Mello. And he's got the NXT guys, and he's like, "Oh, I remember someone wrote on Twitter saying, check your phone, check your DMs, Wesley." So it's looking like he's just really he's recruiting everyone. I don't know what they're going for. I don't know if it's a Hurt Business 2.0, but I'm interested in it. I'm interested to see what's happening here.
I like that it's a slow build. I like that you saw that picture of these dudes. I want to say like a month or two ago when they were all at Raw, right? Like Mello was on Raw. I think he had a match with Seth Rollins, and you saw them. So it's like, okay, what are they all doing in the picture together? Like kayfabe is not. These guys should be in the picture together. But then the internet got talking, and Triple H, when he sees the internet catch on to something, then he's like, all right, let's dip our toe in there. And I think this is what that is. Is it the Hurt Business 2.0? I don't know. But anything that will legitimize, I think the Street Profits are an excellent tag team. Probably the best tag team besides the Usos that they've got right now on the main roster and New Day. Top three. But really what's always missing from the Street Profits is a long title reign. They've never really been champions for that long.
No.
And if this can give them that type of push to the titles and legitimately like take the titles from KO and Sammy and hold on to them titles for a bit, I'm down with it.
I would be down for that. I didn't even think about the possibility of like maybe they get into that title picture and actually win the championship. That's actually I'm for that.
Hey man, I can see very little people that are not for it. Jeff says, my beef with Riddle is that he stole Randy's move and he kept doing it. Granted, he doesn't do it anymore. Yeah, you have to. I'm telling you, man. After he got into trouble, everybody was just watch. Randy probably called this man up and was like, "Yo, man, stop doing my move."
And that same voice too.
That's right. And then it hung up. Click.
Hey,
Randy. Hello, Randy. Are you still there? Randy. Charmaine wants to know, what are you drinking?
So I am drinking this beverage. It's called On the Rocks. It is a margarita, and I'm having the time of my life right now. You guys can't even see, but I'm just sweating.
There you go. That's how smooth it is. It just comes out of your pores.
Oh, that's what it is. I just thought I was mutating.
Jack, I want to talk about switch gears to AEW for a minute. Okay. We got Blood and Guts, and you and we're not on the AEW review show.
No.
This past week,
EC would work me to death.
Yeah, right. You'd have no days off.
No.
But this past Wednesday was Blood and Guts, and unpopular review. UPR has an AEW review show. Go check it out. This week was Dice and Mike Knox hosting as they run down AEW. And we weren't on that show, so I want to provide my commentary because these guys were very glowing about what was going on. But honestly, I think AEW's got a severe problem. One, leading up, and I'm sure you heard this, right? Leading up to this show, I think the day before, AEW dropped some news saying, we got to change some stuff. Corporate is telling us, corporate is in Warner Brothers Discoveries telling us we need to change some stuff. And there's a laundry list of things that they can't do. They can't touch fans. They can't go into the stands. They can't do blood. They can't fake a seizure. They can't, use illegal weaponry. And I think they threw that out there because everybody was going to be like, oh, blood and guts. Like, what's blood and guts going to be without blood and guts? And then people tuned in and it was the same bullshit that they always do. And here's my problem with blood and guts is AEW always wants to be like old school ECW. But the problem is ECW had storylines and they actually had continuity. AEW doesn't have any of that shit. I'm old enough to say I was in the building when we was at the bingo hall in ECW. But AEW is trash. Like you had a Boston crowd. Like they saw everything in this match. There was weapons, glass, thumbtacks, nails, chairs, everything but one thing in particular, which the Boston crowd, because they're from Boston and they're Neanderthals over there, they were very quick to point out. They start chanting, "We want fire." like cavemen. We want fire. This is the problem with AEW. You've now created this bloodthirsty audience that only wants to see extreme levels of violence. Mm-hmm. And when you don't give them these extreme levels of violence, everything else is boring. So the episode, I guess, just bookmarked everything that is just complete trash of AEW in my eyes. You have MJF, your world champion, coming out, and then Adam Cole coming out, and they play the same exact music. And then MJF, he's not an actor. He's not winning an Oscar. Why are you playing my music twice? Shut up, idiot. You know this is a
remix.
It's a remix. And so, okay, it's a remix. It's okay. It's cool.
Yeah.
Please, if it's on Spotify, you're barely breaking 1 million. Trust me. But then they get in the ring and then they start dancing. What kind of bullshit? I thought they didn't do sports entertainment. Why are they doing Backstreet Boys bullshit in the ring?
Poor Backstreet.
Then it wasn't just them dancing. Then you got Sammy Guevara and the other Daniel Garcia, the other guy, dancing. I'm sorry, is Alex Wright back from the dead? What is Disco Inferno coming out too?
No. Like now I gotta Google this. Alex Wright is dead? I thought he was alive.
Listen, he's dead in the wrestling environment, wrestling community.
In our minds.
Everybody's dancing. So when the New Day dances,
that was Disco.
Oh, they're clowns. But when the AEW World Champions dancing,
community is though they sit here and they'll sit here and go, New Day, that sucks. There's no consistency.
There isn't. But this is what drives me nuts. But we got a guy on our own network that's hamming this up and eating this up. Mike Knox, he's in the audience right now. He's watching. Mike eats this up, and he's like, "This is the best." Earlier today, 6:00. You can go back, run it back. He's got a show. Recapping all of it's a Mike Knox show. I'm watching this show, and he's bigging up, putting over MJF hard. Oh, this is the greatest tag team I've ever seen. I'm sorry. These two idiots, MJF and spaghetti legs, this man, I got more tone in my legs than Adam Cole does right now. I got more wrestler-looking legs than Adam Cole does. And you're telling me
that's why you don't wear two.
This is why I'm like Matt Riddle. They send me out and they're like, put the jeans on. And this man was bigging them up, doing his thing. They're the greatest tag team of all time.
Of all time. I don't want to get noise pollution again.
This is not what I said. Look, he's already yelling in the comments.
Yeah, because it's all caps, right?
Sorry. Correction. I stand corrected. They were the funniest tag team that I've seen. Absolutely. So I stand corrected. This is what he said. But you mean to tell me they're funnier than The Rock and Sock Connection? You out of your mind, Mike. You out of your mind. You crazy.
I'll sit here and say this: the act, it has been funny. I thought this was one of the weaker. What was this? These bro segments. But I did pop at the end when they kicked. So they've been building up for the longest time. Just double clothesline, just double clothesline. Now I want to do a double clothesline. It's really ridiculous, and I'll be the first to sit there and say I love ridiculousness. Hence why my favorite stuff to watch is old school Looney Tunes, because they just yell all the time. He gets it. Good job. But the dance off was a little too much for me. It was. I did chuckle at first, and then Adam Cole did the cringe. I said, "Oh, he's so white." It was really cringe when he did the dance. So I agree that sometimes they do a little too much. I think that they're trying to find this way because they understand that it just can't be. The show can't just be wrestling. You got to have some kind of entertainment on it. And I would sit here and say, like, yeah, sometimes they really missed the boat with me on it. I said, this is just not for me. This is not for me. Yeah, but you were talking about the blood and guts, and I was glad that you mentioned all those rules from before, because one of them that you mentioned, you said no blood. I said, then AEW might as well pack it up because they can't go without blood.
It's game over for AEW.
And not for nothing, and that blood and guts match, right? It's such a tongue tie. And what better team to have than the Bloodpool Combat Club? It was funny to me because there was no blood until Jon Moxley showed up.
That's right. Nobody gets to bleed until I show up. This guy, what a joke. Jon Moxley. This man, I swear that he must be so pissed off at WWE because Vince McMahon said, listen, buddy, you got to do something about this spare tire. My man was running all over Ohio, Cleveland, whatever bum city he's from in Ohio, and he gets in shape. This man comes back. He's looking good. And then all of a sudden, Vince still doesn't give him the title. He said, hold this TV, and then explodes the TV. This man was tight. He said, put on Bane's jacket.
They did.
And he did. Put on this gas mask. All right, boss. And then he got pissed off because somebody wouldn't job to him. It's ridiculous.
Well, to be fair, I mean, he realized he was Bane and he was going to job. I mean, if you're Bane, you know you're losing to Batman. So I think he had a valid point to be mad. I would be mad if I had to lose to Batman too.
Yep. Guys, we are live streaming at the same time of Monday Night Raw. And right now, if you are watching this not live, it is minutes to 11, and it's the end of Monday Night Raw. We had a wasn't really a contract signing as much as it was just kind of like a meeting between Finn Balor and Seth Rollins in the middle of the ring. They had their table out there.
Yes.
The Judgment Day, when Finn comes out, is missing. But then they end up showing up. Little by little, they come out of the audience and they surround Seth Rollins, and they come in and they beat him up. And now we're watching the Judgment Day beat up Seth Rollins. And who comes to make the save? Sami Zayn. But not before a stare down between Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Damian looked like he was clenching his
Money in the Bank.
His Money in the Bank. And executive consultant loves it when Money in the Bank winners tout their briefcase.
What are you holding your briefcase up for? Nobody cares about your briefcase. It doesn't matter right now.
That's exactly how EC feels about this briefcase. And so Damian Priest is looking to cash in, but Finn Balor gives him this look like, nah, you don't need to cash in right now. I got this. I'm going to win this. And yeah, man, they are putting a beating on Seth Rollins right now. Oh, the razor's edge.
Yeah, they're beating the hell out of him. Like they just left him for dead.
Oh, here's our boy Dom. We were just talking about Dom Mysterio, greatest wrestler alive right now.
The greatest wrestler of all time.
The greatest wrestler. I'm just trying to troll for comments. He's not the greatest wrestler.
Oh, you don't know wrestling. All you do is complain.
Wow, look at this. Triumphant, the Judgment Day. Seth Rollins has not gotten his ass beat like this in a long, long time. Like, wow.
This wouldn't have happened if he had the Shield. I'm sorry. I'm just throwing that out there.
It all depends on which Shield member. I mean, honestly, if it was John Moxley, he would have still gotten his ass beat.
I appreciate the staying in character and dislike for John Moxley. I appreciate that. It's great because I listened to the Analog Takeover and I hear you when you go off. You guys should check that out.
I hate John Moxley.
But the Shield was such a great faction. The Judgment Day doesn't stand a candle to that. Oh, is Kane about to show up?
Kane is just walked into my house.
He did. Is it Kane or was it Mayor Kane?
It might be Blue Kane.
Apparently, Blue Kane. When I saw him step over the bottom rope to get over the top, I said, "I'm a fan." I was sold immediately. I said, "I love this guy." More Blue Kane.
More Blue Kane. Guys, you're watching Unpopular Review. This is the wrestling show. I'm Big Daddy Cool. I'm joined here by the bad one himself, Badguy Jack. We are we wrapped up talking about Dominik Mysterio. I know the title card shows Dominik Mysterio, who's going to challenge him for the NXT title. We talked at good length about that and for a good 25 minutes. So catch that at the front of the show. But right now, also Monday Night Raw wrapped up. So if you're joining us coming off of Monday Night Raw, we'll talk a little bit about that and the build to SummerSlam. But yeah, just to wrap up those AEW thoughts, man. I mean, complete trash. Like, it's just, and then they hug, like after Blood and Guts, like you have a blood feud,
right?
And then they're hugging and kissing. Like, come on, bro. No, nobody cares. You're not the Click. Stop pretending. You just go home. Go home.
Just go home. I think you're helping me get this cough out because that was hilarious. Just go home. Just
go home. Just go home. Omega, go home. Moxley, I would tell him to go home, but probably Renee threw him out, and he's living in a cardboard box under a bridge in Cleveland somewhere.
Oh my God,
that's who he is. He
fighting random wolves.
Yeah, probably.
Cleveland guy. I'm not sure.
Probably they probably got everything. They got all kinds of Cocaine Bear. Probably started in Cleveland.
I believe it.
That's where he got the cocaine.
Well, I don't want to tell stories, but I can confirm that.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, guys, drop whatever you want to talk about in the chat. You want to talk about WWE, AEW, we'll jump right into it. We got about maybe 10-15 more minutes in the show. I want to talk a little bit about wrestling news. I was reading over the weekend. Seth Rollins, WWE was in Mexico over the weekend, Mexico City. Here's another difference between AEW and WWE. Nobody gets beat up for real when WWE goes to Mexico. AEW goes to Mexico and Don Callis gets mugged.
Was that an AEW show? I don't think that was AEW.
It was a AAA show. It was AAA.
I just want to say that the AEW talent go there.
I just want to throw them under the bus. I would just want to just completely bury them. That's my MO. You would. I can officially say
sure.
That I get paid by the WWE because as a shareholder, I actually get dividends. So yeah, that's right. Vince is paying me to hate on AEW without a doubt.
Fantastic.
Well, not really just for that. He pays me as a shareholder, and I just like trashing AEW because it's just complete garbage.
It's really his thing. Like you guys have.
Yes, it's my thing. You want to see balanced talk about AEW? Go watch that Wednesday night AEW review on Popular Review. You want to see somebody completely shit on it? Come to this Monday night show every Monday and watch me shit on them with unmercilessly.
And it's some aggressive shitting.
That's right. Charmaine wants to know, is Logan Paul going to wrestle at SummerSlam? Yes, he's going to wrestle Ricochet. Ricochet is going to wrestle him. It's going to be a good match. Again, I don't know if it'd be 5-star, but it might be 5.25.
Well, Dave won't give it 5 stars because not taking it down. But I think it's going to be a spectacle. You know, these guys could go. Paul Logan? I'm sorry, he has 2 first names. It always confused me. 2 first names. Like,
Logan Paul
is on purpose. It's gonna be a spectacle. I think it's gonna be a spectacle. It's gonna be good, and Ricochet's taking it out.
Yeah, all they need is 10 minutes. They just gotta just jump in there, do some wild stuff.
What we got?
Here we got Ad Crazy 88. What's going on? He's watching us on Twitch. You will see me next week challenge Dirty Dom for that North American title. Second gens go toe to toe. Wow, well, look at that. You see that? He's gonna challenge Dirty Dom next week.
Yeah.
Look out, everybody.
Watch out. So right here on Unpopular Review first, a guy who's going to be challenging Dirty Dom. That's all.
He's gonna beat him. What you need to do, my guy, is shit on this WWE product because Vince kills them every week with changes. Vince hasn't really changed anything. You know that? Did you know that on SmackDown they changed a bunch of stuff? Like Io Sky was not supposed to fight Charlotte, but apparently, like I guess, COVID. Some of the talent from Friday night tested positive for COVID the same day, and they ended up being sent home. So they had to like scramble for. Yeah, I read that on Wrestling Inc. Great website for wrestling news. And guys, be careful when you're reading shit in these Facebook groups and Twitter. Like, consider the source. Like, I read something earlier. I want to bring this up. I don't have a graphic of it, unfortunately, but I want to talk about it. And so somebody shared this nonsense with me, and I'm going to share it with you because it's just complete garbage. Oh, and it had to do with, again, my favorite promotion, AEW.
It is your favorite.
Ad Crazy is going to get upset with me right now. Oh, this is a Facebook post from Pro Wrestling Network. I don't know what type of network Pro Wrestling Network is, how many people subscribe to it, whatever. It sounds like gibberish to me.
Okay.
And this is a report from Fightful states that Orange Cassidy has been promoted to AEW producer/agent. He produced the Infantry versus Kingdom match on Ring of Honor TV, as well as Big Bill and Brian Cage versus Trent and Matt Sydal on Rampage. Now, Jack, I got to ask you a question. Oh, this was also the author of this post put down, it's P Jizzy, as in PJIZY. So when you want hard-hitting wrestling news, you got to go to the P Jizzy.
So he knows Jizzy.
He or she or they know what they're talking about.
Maybe it's a tree.
Maybe it's a trio. I don't know.
Maybe it's group.
It could be it could be like the Judgment Day. It could be just all maybe it's P and then Jiz and E. I don't know. Who knows? But Jack, if you are, Orange Cassidy, he's a vanilla midget. He's a thin little guy, scrawny guy, does his shit, right? But he's fast. He's got like a lucha style. If you're an agent, and I can see that Orange Cassidy's been in AEW for several years now. He's been
since day one. He was a day one dude.
Right. So I can see where they can promote him to a producer and an agent. But Big Bill, otherwise also known as Big Cass,
that's right,
from WWE, and Brian Cage, two big dudes. Like massively big dudes. Like 3 Orange Cassidys will not weigh the same as Brian Cage.
Brian Cage now comes out as Zangief from Street Fighter.
That's right.
This thing is a big dude because Zangief is a big dude.
Right, he's a big dude. Big Cass is a big dude. Do you think these two big dudes, if Orange Cassidy comes up to Brian Cage and Big Cass, do you think that they'll be like, "That's right, Chief. I'm gonna take that lesson. You want me to do more kip-ups and more dusty finishes? No doubt, dude. You want me to do a moonsault? Yeah, sure, Chief. I got you." No, they're not. They're not gonna listen to one fucking word this man has to say. You're gonna have Orange Cassidy be an agent to 2 big dudes on AEW? Nah, that's not.
Wait, let me get this story that you got here going, right? So he's
from P Jizzy.
Right, the last Jizz, right? So
the last Jizz.
So he's the agent, right? But he's putting a match together for these 2 big dudes,
right? And Matt Sydal and the other guy.
But they're agents, or he's putting a match together for these.
he's putting a match together, like he's coaching them through it. So like usually like Mark Henry will be an agent for like Jade Cargill matches. And again, she's a big woman and he wants her to be big, right? Massive. So I can see that. Like Mark Henry, he's a big dude, work like a big man. You heard this back when like Keith Lee came up and in WWE from the NXT, and they were like, we want him to work as a big man.
Right.
And he couldn't figure it out. He just wanted to do his indie shit still.
No.
Also that he was winded as fuck when he was wrestling, still is. But yeah, that's the thing about this guy.
To answer your question, because I like Orange, but I think one of the things is that when you have big men like Kaz and was it Brian Cage? Brian Cage, who could pretty much do it all. I don't know if he still does the flips and stuff like that anymore because you rarely see him in AEW. I think he's more of an all-race guy these days. I would have someone like Mark Henry teaching them, the big man style and stuff like that. I would have someone like that. I would have him. I would, as you said, Mark Henry, and you said Jade. And I think Jade also too. There's I don't know if he's an agent, but does Bryan Danielson do stuff with her? I know he's out right now.
He was coaching her. He was coaching Jade.
And I think that was great, by the way, because I think Jade is fantastic.
Yeah. Now Jade said she's not coming back.
Yeah, I heard something where I don't know. I heard something like that. I hope she does come back because I like Jade. I want to see Jade again.
Absolutely.
And so she got to come back. She got to come back anyway. I feel like
maybe she's just trying to get more money. I don't know. Who knows?
I think she is trying to get more money.
It's AD, not ad. Get it right. All right. My apologies. I'm handing out a lot of apologies tonight. I'm apologizing to Mike Knox. I'm apologizing to AD.
This is a rarity.
I know. It's a rare show for me tonight. Both of those dudes are garbage. Listen, they barely get. I mean, listen, you are garbage if your name's Big Bill. Like, what kind of that's the best fucking wrestling name they could have been. Tony Khan.
Yeah, that is plain.
Like I and listen, I'm critical of Vince too. Vince came up with draws. He wanted to change him to puke. You're a puke.
He's gonna puke.
That's right. But Big Bill is
not for nothing.
Fucking trash.
There was this one wrestler, and he wasn't ever really featured on Raw and SmackDown. I remember because when I was a kid and I just wanted to get my wrestling fix on a Saturday, it was something called WWF Metal, and it had people like Perry Side, people you just never saw on Raw and SmackDown. And one guy, his name was, and you can Google this, his name was Just Joe.
Just Joe.
Just Joe.
Right.
That was literally his name. And even in his Tigertron, who are you? Just Joe.
Just Joe. Doesn't matter because you're gonna just job.
No, he actually, I think, won a match. I don't know how, but he did.
George wants to ask us, do you see NXT being part of this year's Survivor Series?
No, I don't.
No, I don't think so either. I think they're trying to I like that what they're trying to do with NXT, like putting some main roster heads down there so they can start spiking some ratings and get the Monday night and the Friday night crowd to start watching NXT. I think it's slowly starting to work.
I think so. I don't think it's the same when they did that NXT they included NXT, what was that, 2019? It's just a different NXT. I like this NXT. I've grown to like this NXT. I love the young talent here. These are talents that you're going to see for the next 10, 15 years or maybe just forever because, I don't know. But I don't see them being involved.
Yeah.
Jeffrey,
definitely, George has a question. I want to flash this up here, and then I want to talk about an NXT star that says a main roster superstar has really influenced her and given her great advice. And I think you're going to be surprised once I drop the name because everybody hates this superstar. George asked the question, who in the Raw Women's division to challenge Rhea Ripley? But to me, I say that Shayna Baszler challenging Rhea Ripley because they had a history on NXT. Jack, what do you think about that? What do you think about Rhea Ripley having a possible challenger in Shayna Baszler?
I mean, I agree with what George said. There's history there. You can play off that history. This definitely have to be somewhere after SummerSlam. And Bill and Shayna, I mean, I feel like they've done the last 2 weeks, right? She beat Emma and Nikki Cross in under a minute, kind of getting back that old NXT feel of it. I think she could be a possible threat for the championship. I don't know. I didn't think about her so much, but I like that he mentioned that there's history there. So yeah.
I think this is a really good pull, George. I don't see it happening soon. I think maybe by Survivor Series, maybe even by Rumble, I can see it happening. I think that obviously you know that they're going to feed Ronda to Shayna because Ronda wants to put over her buddy. But I also think that Triple H knows how good Shayna Baszler can be if he allows Shayna Baszler to do Shayna Baszler things. And so I think he's trying to big her up and build her up to then send her to Rhea. And knowing that backstory, and what I'm surprised by WWE is that they don't do this enough, is like they don't promote the NXT history enough to be like, go check this out on Peacock. Or when they had WWE Network, go check this out on the network, the history of Rhea Ripley
Visual. Yeah.
and Shayna Baszler, for instance. So yeah, let me see. I'm gonna get to you, AD. I see your comments. Hold on a second. You a funny dude. like and Rhea beats Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. Don't know what year, but do you see that happening? Yeah, I think I do see it happening. Jeff says Shayna has to be a big baby face, George. It's going to be hard to cheer for her, even though we like her now against Ronda. Yeah, I think we talked about this last week on the show. Is Ronda is a mega heel because the internet he just doesn't like Ronda. And therefore, Shayna is the de facto babyface, but she's not a true babyface. But is Rhea a baby? If when Rhea defends, is she a babyface?
No.
I don't know, because I feel like she's getting to that like tweener stage where she's like super cool. People love her. Wrestling fans love Rhea.
They do.
And I don't see them booing her.
No.
Or cheering against her. I don't know. Mark Henry and Paul White, good calls.
That's good.
Guys that will put over, teach big guys. Big Cass rolls off the tongue. Big Bill doesn't. I like this one. Big Bill sounds like a porn name.
Yeah, see, that was the comment I saw earlier. I was like, oh wow,
that's funny. AD is saying Nick Khan trying to have main roster attraction on NXT to boost ratings, yet they still put on garbage every Tuesday. I don't know, man. This is quality stuff. They making a move. I'm not going to be surprised when NXT beats AEW. It's going to happen this year. You watch. And he says Shayna is boring AF.
Listen, I think Shayna is a quiet taste. I like that she just kills girls. Like she just goes in the ring and she fancy on the mic and she's sitting there saying stuff like, "Oh yeah," and then after that, watch Total Divas. No, she goes out there in the ring and she just kills women. I dig that. I'm for it.
That's right. But she's got to use that. She's got to use that UFC stuff, right? Like not no karate shit, because
I think what happened was when Triple H wasn't having the books and stuff like that, and he's trying to help his NXT talent, talent that he saw and how he was booking them in NXT. He's trying to get that over now. Because you was mentioning something earlier. I'm sorry, it just slipped my mind. But you was mentioning something like, "Oh, I'm surprised they didn't do this." But I think they tried to, because we make the transfer from NXT to the main roster. It's a whole different audience.
Yep.
It's a different audience, but I'm glad that they are going back to her roots and doing. I'm glad they're getting back to her roots and letting her. I think she's getting over. I don't know how that crowd is feeling. I can only speak for myself and just go like, I'm digging it, because I always thought she. Matter of fact, I was sitting here saying in 2020, what was that? That WrestleMania. She should have beaten Becky, but that didn't happen.
Right. I mean, Vince was booking stuff back then, and I don't think he saw the value in Shayna, but I think Triple H does see the value in her and sees the potential, right? He booked her in NXT. He knows what she can be if she's actually booked like this MMA powerhouse who is lacking, right? There's that type of character is missing on the women's side right now in WWE. But remember, it's very integral that Triple H keeps Shayna as MMA and not karate. You know why? Because
Bitch, shut up before I kick you in the face again. Nobody gives a damn about that karate shit.
nobody gives a damn about that karate shit.
I wanted to touch on what Jeffrey was saying in the chat. He said if they let Shayna be Shayna, she's going to get cheered more over time. Look at LA Knight. But I think the difference between them is LA Knight, his charisma got him over. I don't know. Shayna's not charismatic. She's just, I'll kill you.
Right. And she doesn't need to be charismatic. She doesn't. She just needs to be a stone cold killer.
Mm-hmm.
And
does that get over on the main roster?
And I think like you said last week, right? Just run it back. Do the same shit that they did with Steve Blackman, right? Steve Blackman was the same fucking dude and could not get over. But then he was so serious that they paired him up with Al Snow and the shit got over. And it's that odd couple tag team. And I can see them doing that with Shayna, but first they got to build her up as a stone cold killer. And I think that's what they're working to do. I honestly think AD's got a point here. We said this the last two shows. Well, I said it because everybody's been shitting on this build for Shayna versus Ronda. I honestly think this is going to be the shoot fight of the year. These two girls are going to go in and they're going to do some business. If you're paying attention to what they do in the ring, you're going to notice, even in like the stuff that they've been doing leading up to SummerSlam, they are shoot fighting. And they,
when you said shoot fight of the year, if only this was last year, I think this would have been a potential candidate because the Elite against Punk would have been part of
number one.
It would have been top 5.
Oh shit, that's right. It might still happen. They got to put something at that Wembley show. And you know what? Somebody in the comments, you're saying it now, but somebody in the comments last week said throw them in the fight pit. Absolutely. And shit, maybe they will.
I think that's the route you go in. I mean, it's both their environment, and I think those women would kill in that kind of environment rather than a singles wrestling match.
Yeah. Put them in a fucking Detroit alley fight. How about that? Detroit street fight.
What was that one fight? It was Goldust against Roddy Piper, and he hit Roddy Piper with his gold car or some shit.
That's right. That was in WrestleMania when they were in LA.
Yeah.
I forget what number. I think it was 9.
Well, I know it was Goldust. I think he tried to run over Roddy Piper with a gold freaking car. I don't know what I was. Yeah. I might watch that before the night is up because I need comedy.
Yep. We're getting into final comments. Put them in Raw Underground. Raw Underground was the best, man. That shit was fire. Do you see Santos? I'm surprised that Tony Khan hasn't stolen the idea for Raw Underground. That seems like something that he would do. Do you see Santos? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say NXT did Underground.
They did. They did. And they put over Gable Steveson, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, he started throwing people after the match, yes.
Yeah, I love it. Do you see Santos Escobar beating Rey Mysterio this Friday night on SmackDown? I do.
You know what I was thinking? I don't think we get a winner, and I think we get a triple threat.
I can see that, but the problem is that they have so many triple threats that are kind of going on the SummerSlam card. I feel like you got Bianca, Charlotte, and Asuka.
Oh, Asuka, sorry.
So you have that triple threat going on. I'm confusing the triple threat that we just talked about with great
NXT, right.
But I feel like it's just a lot of triple threats. So I can see where they might want to stay away from it.
Sure.
But I do see this being like a coming out party for Santos. I feel like they're doing a good job of putting him over. And, there's rumors about Roosh, right? Roosh is out of contract in AEW. Listen, who would you rather be? Let's play. I like playing this game with Jeff Libman on the podcast, Hammerlock Hangover. I do a podcast, Hammerlock Hangover, just quick plug. If you like me here, you'll like me there. Who would you rather be?
A tree.
Would you rather be Roosh or would you rather be Santos Escobar right now?
Santos Escobar.
Thank you.
Santos Escobar.
That's how the game is played.
Okay.
Usually it's a lot tougher than that.
No, I don't know much about Roosh, but I know Santos and stuff that he's been doing. I'm more familiar with his work. Matter of fact, I saw this really cool video on Twitter. It was something about a kid. He was overwhelmed, crying, and him just taking him over the rails and speaking with him. I didn't see the whole video, but I just thought it was so cool. And I said, I like this Santos Escobar, so I root for him.
Yep.
Oh, even George, he sat there and he said, Santos Escobar. Duh.
Let's talk about Tiffany Stratton for a minute. She was interviewed last week, and she put somebody over on the main roster that I think some people will be surprised to hear about. Now, Tiffany Stratton got signed by NXT in 2021 and new to wrestling. Never worked indies. Again, very athletic type. This is who WWE likes to go for nowadays. And she's learning all about wrestling real fast, real quick. So much so that she is now the NXT champion, right? And I feel like they see a lot of talent in her. And I feel like there's a good amount of fans that, again, watch NXT that see a lot of talent in her, but she still feels she's green. And so recently there was this WWE Superstar, future Hall of Famer, in my opinion. I think in everybody's opinion, but they don't want to admit this, was at NXT. And she pulled her aside, said, keep doing what you're doing, and talked to her about not having enough confidence. Said, oh, I feel like I'm messing up. And she's like, listen, you're going to mess up. It's okay. You're young. You're learning the business. It's a lot to learn. Keep at it. Keep fighting. Keep showing up every day. Keep doing all that stuff. You know who this woman was?
Was it Charlotte?
That's right. Charlotte Flair. Everybody wants to dig Charlotte into a hole that she's like this. She is who she is the character that she portrays on TV, right? Everybody thinks Charlotte is this narcissist that only wants the championship. But, you know, when you hear stories about Charlotte, it's all about, you know, how she's
giving
and putting other people over and enjoys her role now. She understands it where she is at, right? She's not, her job is to put other women over like Rhea Ripley. So that way now there's more competition for her to squash. No, just kidding. There's more competition for everybody, right? So she can now say, you know, she put over Rhea Ripley, and even though a lot of people will argue Rhea Ripley was already made before that, but I can argue with that. The one woman that Bianca hasn't beat is Charlotte Flair.
It is. That's the only one.
And so they're building to that. I don't know if they can squeeze this from here to WrestleMania, but I think they're going to give it a good try.
One-on-one. I think there's it. Because I see what you're saying. Because you're like, what do you do in between that time, right? Like if it would have been different if maybe Bianca went away or something like that. But I think they can. I think so because I think that's the next big match. Like if you're not doing it at SummerSlam, do you do it at Survivor Series? I don't think so. I think you save that for it. This is the kind of match you have at either Survivor Series. I'm sorry, SummerSlam or Mania.
Yep. And I think she'll do great. I think she's going to, you know, again, solidify Bianca Belair as the superstar that she is.
Yep.
Again, not that she needs that, but she can lay claim to being the one individual that has beat Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte and Becky.
Asuka too. I mean, you talked about the four horsewomen, but someone like Asuka who's so established as well. I mean, right now, Bianca right now is those women that we named. Those are the Infinity Stones for Infinity.
That's right.
And when she does it, she's going to be so powerful that not even 2010 John Cena could take her down.
That's right.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Tiffany Stratton is green and her mic skills aren't that great. Right, but listen, she's been in the business for 18 months, and I agree that she's green. I agree that she has to still do work, and she even says this.
She does.
But the fact that she looks as good as she does for getting into the business 18 months is impressive to me. And I know other people will be like, you're wrong, you're crazy. She should be fucking serving breakfast out of an IHOP window or something. AD says they just need a blonde to replace Mandy for that title. I don't think so, man, because I think that she's a little bit different, and I think she's very similar to who's this wrestler that we interviewed here? It's in the YouTube
Oh, I think I know what
archives.
you're talking about. I can't think of her name. The Glamour.
Not the glamour. I'm the glamour. She's
Yeah,
British.
Glamour.
Fuck, I
Yeah,
can't remember.
was it Mariah something? Mariah May?
Mariah May. There we go. And I think Tiffany Stratton is the WWE replica of her. It's unfortunate for Mariah May because I feel like Mariah May does the gimmick a lot better, but
Sure.
because she's got this British accent and it makes it kind of seem more hoity-toity. But kudos to Tiffany Stratton for doing her thing, man.
And I want
ass.
to pick back on something you were saying too. I want to pick back on her realizing like there's still work that needs to be done. Let me stay on NXT. Don't rush me up to the main roster because she can go up there and how do I word this? She can go up there and fall on her face. And she said, "Hey, let me stay on NXT. Let me get my reps in." Because I saw that
Right.
George, when he was mentioning she's green, yeah, she, like you said, she admitted to that. And that's what she said. Let me stay down here. Do not rush me up. Do not rush me up. Let me get my reps in. I thought it was too soon to put the NXT Women's Championship on her, but it was between her and Lyra Valkyria.
Yep.
And they were going to go with Tiffany. Look, Tiffany, I don't know how tall she is, but she looked like a big girl. She looked like she's like 5'6", 5'7", blonde. They got their what they like, and they went with her, and that's fine. And I think so far as NXT champion, she's been okay. She's been fine. I think that, my skills, I'm not going to say it's 5 stars or anything like that, but I think she understands her character, which is a thumbs up.
George asks, why do you think WWE put the NXT Women's Championship on her, Tiffany Stratton?
Look at the match that she had. She had that match with Lyra Valkyria. And you look at those two, who do you think they're going to go with? They're going to go with the tall blonde. I mean, why? That's that. I think, and I also look back at that one match where it was, oh God, it was a triple threat. I'm blanking. I think Roxanne Perez, Indy Hartwell, and Tiffany. Indy Hartwell got hurt, and they wasn't sure she could finish, and they were already at that point ready to put the title on her until Indy was like, "I can go, I can go, I can go." So I feel like they've always wanted to put the championship on her. I think that once again they have their vision on what they like, and I mean I don't know any other way, any other words to add to it. But I just think that they know what they like, and they were going to go with Tiffany.
You're absolutely right, and I think you bring up a really good point. I think Tiffany's safe. As green as she is, she's safe, right? She hasn't hurt anybody, and she hasn't hurt herself, and so she's listening. And yeah, she's easy on the eyes, but so are like pretty much all the girls in NXT. But what you didn't know is that you were going to get all these injuries. They put the title on Cora, she gets injured. They put the title on Roxy, she gets injured. You get the title on Indy, she gets injured. All these guys got injured. Tiffany is doing the work and not getting injured. And again, not to say that, this is the only reason, but listen, HBK is no slouch. And I'm pretty sure Tiffany's doing the work too, in the ring and outside the ring, meaning the shit that you don't see on TV is that she's green, but she's doing the work. Like if you watch these NXT documentaries of like what the boot camp and the training, they put these kids through a lot of fucking shit. And there's no wonder that like a lot of indie guys don't make it because they're just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
And they leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a soldier. It's like boot camp.
It is. Well, that's how they weed out the weak.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, guys, this is Unpopular Review. Thanks for joining us and thanks for tuning in. It is a pleasure talking wrestling with you. If you got any final comments and questions, please drop them in the chat. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. I'm talking to you, AD Crazy 88. I see you watching us on Twitch, but go over to YouTube and click that subscribe button, man. We need the support. We're very close to 1,000 subscribers, so please make sure you tell your friends, hey, man, these guys, they like talking about wrestling. Listen, I may hate AEW. I make no bones about it, but that's why we are unpopular review, because there's a lot of co-hosts here. I'm not just one guy popping off about my shit, what I like in wrestling. There's Bad Guy, and he might have a different opinion. And then there's EC, the executive consultant. He might have a different opinion. And then there's Mike Knox, who thinks that MJF and Adam Cole are the funniest tag team ever created. Listen, this is why it's unpopular review, because there's a lot of differing opinions. We got women talk about wrestling here. We got the wrestling doll. She co-hosts with Bad Guy Jack on NXT. We got other hosts here, all different types of opinions here. So please make sure you like and subscribe. Please support and tell your friends. If you know people that like wrestling and need a couple things to watch in the middle of their lunch break, coffee break, 15-minute cigarette break, listen, following us on YouTube ain't a bad idea.
And then after that, stop smoking.
And then stop smoking. Yes, please.
Yeah, we
vaping.
Smoking cigarettes. That's not good.
No, we want you to stick around. Especially you, AD, because you look like you smoke. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know you from a hole in the wall, buddy. Your AEW review is mid. What? This guy is really like trying to get that stuttering thing over.
Yeah. There's a joke.
Listen, it's good. Look, here's a clip from the AEW show. It's not all the time mid. It's just, sometimes.
Oh, here we go.
Hold on a second. I got to show you. Like, you got to like this clip. I like this clip. This is my favorite AEW clip.
Let me show you something. Okay.
I know what.
This is my jug of water. Right?
It's disgusting.
We'll call this Keith Lee. This little guy here is Darby Allin. Right? Now watch. Watch this. Okay. I wasn't good in science class. I wasn't. But watch this. Okay? For all y'all,
What? What was that?
For all that to this, see, let's try this again. This is Darby Allin. This is Keith Lee. All right, you see how that bounce? Let's do it again. Let's do it again, right? Let's do it again. Oh, okay, right? Takes away from the match for me. All right?
Let the record show that John Silver has a clean win over Keith Lee. It can be done.
John Silver actually is,
and he's like he's a little bit beefier, but he's still a small guy.
No, the beefiness. Pause. The beefiness. Size matters.
No. Not when the discrepancy is still large. Like, you can be big, but if someone's still way bigger than you, it really doesn't matter.
Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, the limitless one. Okay? Now watch both of them. All right, that's what should have happened. And it didn't happen.
The limitless one. That's exactly what we were talking about, right, Ron?
I always get a kick out of this clip because as EC is doing this, right, you can see that the sheriff is very unpleased at this humor. And I think after that, we didn't see her for like 2 weeks or something like that. Because I don't think she was on last week, was she?
No, she wasn't.
No, she wasn't. She looked very upset. And also seeing Z, who when it first happened, and his delayed laugh. It's a clip. I mean, listen, guys, unpopular review. We all have different opinions on the show, which makes this brand so great. You have this Monday after show or mid show done Raw. It's great. It's usually you and the executive consultant. I mean, if you guys like NXT, please join in with me and the Wrestling Doll, like that clip showed. AEW, we have sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 2, but check that out. And also too, we have an Impact Wrestling review show. We're trying to review Impact as much as possible. So right after Impact goes off the air, we're on the air talking about Impact. And we have top 5s. This week's top 5 is top 5 AEW. Oh my God! I'm sorry, I've been drinking. But
you have been drinking.
I have. I've been drinking water. So top 5, we're going to do Impact wrestlers. So please tune in. And there's so much content, entertainment as well.
It's a lot of content. Please check it out and leave your comments. And if you got any show ideas, send them our way. You can send us emails. Send us messages on YouTube and Facebook and whatever. You know what to do. You guys are not.
You know how to use social media.
That's right. All right, guys, that's it. That's the show. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys for hanging with us and chatting with us tonight. And yeah, we'll do it again next week. And tomorrow night, catch Badguy Jack NXT review right after NXT right here on the UPR YouTube channel. For Unpopular Review, I'm Big Daddy Cool, and we're out. Have a good night, guys.